Hey everyone, welcome to the Cherry Pie Crit. This is an early season, super technical crit we've got up in Northern California. You can see the course up there. It's almost the same as last year's. They took out a couple of U-turns though, I think in response to some crashes last year. And then also, super uncharacteristic for Northern California, we had rain in the forecast for today. It had been raining. You can see it's a little wet on the ground. Had stopped for a while prior to the race, and we got to start in the dry, but the rain will make an appearance before the end. So I'm going to just show you a lap of the course here while it's still dry. We're in the first technical part. Up on the top part of the map, there's a series of left-hand turns. Then you come out of it on this right-hander. You could pedal through that one pretty much no matter how fast you were going. And then this section had a pretty strong headwind. But I'm still going to try to attack here anyways. I was pretty aggressive during the race, trying to throw moves. I think the other straight was better with, yeah, you can see the flags on the right there. Big headwind. So I snapped hard to try and get some separation, but people weren't taking this set of corners very well. There's a lot of people like parking on the apex of this one and then going really wide. I go wide here, but I was pedaling through that. So carrying a lot more speed because I'm by myself. Don't have to negotiate with other people's lines. This straight is pretty short, and then we head down to the little loop that you see on like the bottom part of the map. And I attacked on the headwind section because I wanted to take this part by myself. I felt like this was the most technical part of the course now that they had gotten rid of the U-turns in the top part. And so I wanted my attack to be going through here because this is where it's going to suit a single rider the best. So take all those corners. Now we just have this little kink that's technically the last corner here, and we're on the finishing straight. This is the longest straight of the course, slight downhill coming up once we get past all these cones, and it's also got a ripping tailwind. So I'm just trying to get as aero as I can here, doing enough watts to stay out in front, and I was looking back hoping that someone would come across. I didn't really want to ride by myself for the entirety of the crit. But you can see the whole field is just kind of there. I did ride near the front pretty aggressively most of the race. This was a Cat 2-3 field, so I was relying on my confidence in the corners and was willing to spend energy to try and help tear the race apart. So jumping ahead, this is 2 to go. It starts pouring rain. We're all totally soaked. There's like sitting water out on the course now. The course got very wet very fast. I think there's probably 15 people left in the group, and this is the first set of corners we're coming into. You can see, I think there was a little bit of caution when the rain first started, but then everybody got kind of comfortable with it. I know like right when it started, I threw an attack again, just to like try and force people who weren't comfortable. That corner just there had a couple of like metal covers in it, which those get really slick in the wet, so you had to be careful of those. And there's a little bit of dirt like towards the apex of that corner, but otherwise it really wasn't as awful in the rain as I thought it was going to be. I had also set up my bike like it was going to be raining the whole time. Like it looked pretty rainy before we started, so I had like 70 psi in my tires. I'm a bigger dude, so that's pretty low on my tubeless, and was feeling pretty confident in the wet. I'm got quite a few guys in front of me here. There wasn't really like any teams, so that there wasn't going to be a lead out. And we're coming towards a field sprint at this point. I kind of accepted that a couple laps ago and had started sitting in conserving. Our field wasn't super huge, so like you didn't have to be near the front. Like if you were racing a 100-person field on this course, it would be madness if you weren't in the first like 15 or 20 wheels. But I know that I'm always going to be in the first 15 wheels here because that's all we've got. So coming into the last cornery section, and I know that at 1 to go I probably want to be like first 5 wheels. You can take this race pretty early. Ryan has had great success in the pro races the last couple of years going really early. I think he's gone as early as like a whole lap to go. But I had tired legs, had just been at Valley of the Sun all weekend prior to this too, so this is my 4th day in a row racing, so I didn't have the confidence in my legs for a full lap attack, so I just wanted to sprint on this final straight on the next lap. So coming up to 1 to go here, I moved to the left here because I want to have an out, and so I was going to go around the outside, but guys kind of start spreading, so I take this middle line. The guy in the red skin suit has been winning like P1-2 races, so knew that would be a good wheel to get on. It spreads across, and I do enough power to get towards the front, but I don't want to take the front, so I back off it a little bit and just kind of hold my spot coming into this corner. And you can even see coming out of this corner here, I was carrying speed around the outside, but I didn't want to like punch it, so I'm going to let this guy do the punch, and I'm going to try to be smooth and just get through these corners. So yeah, we're past the metal covers. You see Donnie on the right here fading a little bit. He animated this all race. He was probably the biggest animator. And coming out of this corner, I took that really wide on the entrance so that I could start pedaling early. And I wanted to take a run on this side because I knew I needed to move up a couple of spots. And so this was a pretty big sprint, like pretty much as big of a sprint as on the finish that I used here to get around these guys. And I wish I had taken it up like another spot further, like had come up the inside on this guy. But slot in here, I think there's, 1, 2, 3, 4 guys in front of me now. And coming into this part, I feel really comfortable through these next couple corners. This guy is going to go on the right and get a spot. That was a good idea. I wish I had been in front of him. You'll see on the last straight. Yeah, I guess he was letting a gap open there. But I take an inside line here. It was pretty decent. Get to carry good speed out. If you made a mistake in these corners, you didn't really realize it until you were coming all the way out. But felt good about it. Everyone's in sight here. I'm sitting 5th wheel, which is really not bad. This is a pretty long sprint, but you can see, I think kind of because of the wheel spray, I just couldn't really see what was happening, but this guy right in front of me is just gonna let a gap go into the sprint. And so I was thinking I'm on the wheel, ready to wind up the sprint, and then I look past him and I'm like, oh crap, look at this gap. And so just have to open up my sprint right now. I'm not closing that down at this point. There's 3 guys up there, so finished 4th in the field. They've scored 2s and 3s separately, so was a 3rd in the Cat 2 race. So pretty decent result, especially for the 4th day in a row of racing. Thanks for watching, everyone, and stay tuned for the next one.